In this video, I'm going to talk about two-point perspective, and it's in my book, Ellen's Guide to Drawing Shapes on Amazon. In the last several videos, I talked about one-point perspective. And just to review, a box in one-point perspective has a face with true horizontal and vertical lines. We say that this is parallel to the picture plane. And it recedes in only one direction to a vanishing point, usually on eye level. And usually this vanishing point is in the picture or not far away from the picture. And then if we drew another square touching the same converging lines as the yellow one, then these two squares would have to be the same size. And an example of this is houses in a row or railroad tracks. For the next few videos, we'll talk about two-point perspective. And here's an example with obviously two vanishing points. And it's a much more common view than one-point perspective. The way we would see this box in one point is if we were looking at this face directly on or this face. All the other angles this box can make would be two-point perspective. Now, in two-point, there's only one true vertical, there are true vertical lines, but no true horizontal lines. And as I said, there are two vanishing points, and usually one is out of the picture. If both of them were in, you could see how big this picture would have to be relative to the box to include both vanishing points. So usually we only see one of them, if any at all. And this front corner down here should be more than 90 degrees. Otherwise, the box will look distorted. An example of this would be a street corner. In three-point perspective, the box is stretched in three directions. And what's notable is this lowest angle here is often less than 90 degrees. So if you use this angle in two-point perspective, then it begins to look like three-point perspective. Now, the only point that on the box that's closest to the picture plane is this yellow dot in front. There are no true horizontal and vertical lines. And the two vanishing points are on eye level. The vertical vanishing point is on a line perpendicular to eye level, and it lies somewhere between the other two vanishing points. So use this perspective when an object is very big or when the viewer is very close to it, like looking up at a building. Let's draw a box in two-point perspective. So first draw the line and identify the two vanishing points. Then pick a spot in space and connect it to each vanishing point. This angle should be more than 90 degrees so that your perspective doesn't look distorted. Then determine how long you want the front edge to be and connect the top and bottom to both vanishing points. Where do you want the left side? Determine that and connect both ends to the right vanishing point. For the right side, determine where you want it and connect both ends to the left vanishing point. To finish the box, just find the back edge. And don't place that back edge vertically above the one in front, or else they'll appear conflated. In a worm's eye view, we see the bottom of the box. In a bird's eye view, we see the top of the box. And in an eye-level viewpoint, we only see two sides. We don't see the top or the bottom. And make sure you identify these hidden corners in the back. Boxes appear to rotate and move toward each vanishing point. And the flattest boxes are those straddling eye level, like distant houses straddling the horizon. Perspective becomes more dramatic as the object moves away from eye level and as the lower corner approaches 90 degrees. Here are some bad boxes, so you don't want them converging toward different vanishing points. Make sure these vanishing points are on the eye level. The nearest corner, as I said, shouldn't be less than 90 degrees unless you're doing three-point perspective. And the front and back shouldn't line up because then it looks like a hexagon, and the lines shouldn't widen with distance. Here's a good box because you can see that these sides converge toward one vanishing point and these go to another vanishing point. The angle down here is more than 90 degrees. And if you have a bunch of boxes piled up together, they go to vanishing points on eye level, but different vanishing points because they're turned in different directions. Avoid tangent lines like this because it will conflate the two shapes. It's better to have them more separate like this. How far apart should the vanishing points be? Well, when two sides of a house are about equal in length, and the house is centered between the two vanishing points, and the distance between these two vanishing points is about at least twice the size of the diagonal of the paper. Now, of course, the diagonal of the paper could be bigger, but this gives you just a general approximation of the distance between the vanishing points. In this image, one side of the house is half the size of the other one, so the distance between the vanishing points is generally 3 times the diagonal of the paper. When one side of the house is barely seen, it moves even closer to one of the vanishing points, and the distance between these vanishing points should be at least 4 times the diagonal of this paper. Vanishing points should generally be closer together for larger objects than for smaller ones. So if we look at this large box with a low eye level, it has marked convergence on top, so it looks like a building close by. Objects below eye level, which would be these two, appear small because we assume that eye level is about 5 feet up off the ground as if we're standing. And a medium-sized box like this one has eye level in the picture and some convergence, whereas a small box like this has a high eye level that's out of the picture and minimal convergence. How many sides of a cube do we see? We see one side if we're directly in front of it. We see 2 sides if we look up or down or side to side, like 1 or 2 point perspective. We see 3 sides by looking up and down and side to side, like 2 and 3 point perspective. We see 4 sides when looking at a cube close by with both eyes from above or below, or more commonly when the front or back is removed. And we see 5 sides if only the front is removed, like looking into an empty box. And we see 6 sides if the box is transparent. We can exaggerate perspective for dramatic effects. So here I drew a house where the 2 vanishing points are very close together, and the doors look like eyes and these look like eyebrows, so it makes it look like a worried house, poor house. And then there's this train that is barreling down the tracks in extreme 1 point perspective. These diagonals exaggerate the difference between the front and the back as if it's traveling so fast that we can barely reconcile the apparent change in size as it approaches us. And then these diagonal lines around the fist suggest that it just broke through a barrier. My next video will be about 2 point perspective grids, and please remember to subscribe.